I'm really not kidding when I say that people get on my nerves. Uh, just the way that they act, some of the choices they make, things they do, little like subtle stuff more often than not, but it all just collectively turns into this extremely unappealing downward spiral in terms of humanity. Like you're looking at this sort of like, really, that's as good as we can get. This is just how we are. Like imagine doing a video that responds to a news story, and after you do the video responding to the news story, you almost always get these comments from the same group of people that are so mesmerized slash in love with this person that just completely respond to either the title, and almost like really nothing you say has any impact on the comments they make. They could be writing these comments anywhere. That's why I barely respond to comments anymore, because just stuff like that. Like, what's the point of trying to talk about something if people aren't going to address what you have to say about it? So you're supposed to sit here and get and discuss whatever topic that that comes up, but then the people around you are going to just pretty much stare at their computer screen and not respond to any specific thing you have to say. There's like, okay, well, I guess I'll look at the title and respond to that instead. So I just said the hell with it. I'm sure somebody will get mad, but oh well. But yeah, yesterday I got about 5 hours of sleep. Went to sleep at 7. Woke back up at like 11 something or 12 o'clock, and I had another nap around 8 or 9 at, later on in the night, I guess. Um, I was really working on that documentary second part. I finished, by the grace of the Lord, the first part um, over the course of a month. But the speed I was like, the second part is going to be longer because it's like 200 pages of the book I'm having to adapt. And I went over the last chapter, which is the longest one, about the 1948 Senate election. It's like 50, 60 pages. But I gotta tell you, if I keep it up at this speed, we could get part two as quick as next week. I don't know what it was. It was like when I did part one, I just kind of had to remind myself, like, wow, I'm really doing this. It still feels surreal to me, and I make all these little subtle compromises with myself because when I was first talking about doing one of these like large scale documentaries, like, oh man, I'm gonna put out this 3 4 hour video, and I'm gonna no, what I'm doing now is I'm giving myself some intervals so that it doesn't feel as what's a good way of putting it, as not time consuming, but as uh what's a word for it. I'm doing it this way so that I don't feel as if I'm under as much, not stress, but kind of it takes the load off me. Like, okay, I just have to do this 30-minute video, this hour-long video. That's way easier than 3 hours or 2 hours. Even though, again, when it all gets put together, it'll be several hours long. And that'll just be part one because we still have to talk about the actual presidency itself. Mm. I've always said I do like the idea of just putting all this stuff in one video. Like I don't have to go around reading up several books anymore. I can just stick all of it in one video. Yeah, there people love playing music up here. It's very fun. Yesterday I worked as hard on a script probably as I have all year, I'll admit that. I mean, I was doing stuff like there was no tomorrow. And I don't regret doing that. I'm just kind of tired from yesterday and all that typing. I just mostly wanted to get rid of the because I there's always with a lot of historical figures, there's usually some section that I dread, and this was the at least as far as the years before the White House are concerned, that's the part that annoys me the most because just how long it is. It goes on and on and on. Like there's about two or three times where I thought that chapter was about to be over. Nope. Here's some more attempts by Stevenson to try and get the race to be called in his favor or to keep challenging Johnson's results. You just never know with this stuff how well it's going to go. And the biggest problem is that when it becomes like plausible to me, like that, oh wow, I can actually make this. This is something I can realistically create several parts of. Well, at least my mind starts to kind of go to other subjects too, where I'm like, hey, why don't I do one on that person and that person and that person? But as long as I stick to one thing and at least make some significant, like if I did everything before the presidency and I wanted to like maybe go to something else for a little bit, I wouldn't feel bad because we still did a very significant portion of his life, uh, even if it's not the period that most people would think of first. Still, so yeah, I'm very much looking forward to continuing this. Very excited. It's always this weird tilt. Let me see if I can adjust it a little bit. No, it's been real nice just watching part one. I still can't believe I actually did it. I mean, so often I'll have an idea for something and it just falls through. It just doesn't go as far as I would like it to. But yeah, I made it. Like I said, I will definitely. First priority is part two. I just don't have a set release date for it because, like I'm really not trying to hype up something and then not finish it during the time where I'll put it this way. I think if this pace goes up, it'll be done before the end of the month. Now, if I was really challenging myself, I would say I want to do part two and three before the end of the month, and maybe even four as well. But I'm not going to overexert myself for that way. And take my time with it, read, get everything. Everything is understood, and then we'll go from there. Look, it's cool to have deadlines for yourself. I've always had those in my mind, but it doesn't hurt to have some level of realism. Because, like I said, part two is 200 pages. Um, so if that's the only thing I'm able to finish, I still won't feel bad because it's almost half of the book. Looks like 591. I did the first part, which is like 150 something. and part two is 200. So yeah, that's like, but at that point you've almost you have half of the book done. God, them and this stupid music, man. Just everywhere I go somewhere, just turn it off. I can't go one place without having to hear that stuff. Like, it's really annoying. I'm not even kidding. Like I'll sweat a little bit if it means just not having to listen to that because it can be very distracting. And it's like, why go to a place like this and put the and just I don't know. I don't get the logic of I'm gonna sit in my car and blast my music while I'm at this coffee shop. It's like, go away. People just get on my nerves in terms of some of the choices that they make and the things that they do. Like for example, there's a really big part of me that wants to do the Ted Kennedy one, but I'm gonna hold off on it until I can further progress with the Johnson one because, like I said, I when what the number one thing that always has, in my view, uh, I don't want to say stifled or ruined me with these like long term projects is just taking on too much stuff at once, where I stretch myself too far. But yeah, I very much like the idea of making these. It's something I find extremely appealing. Because I really do have like a small list of people where I'm like, okay, do I want to do this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one? And it's always something where I'm kind of having to debate myself, like, hey, do I think this one really needs? Because my thing is, um, if I don't feel as if I have an approach, that's something that people don't see that often, then I probably won't bother with it. Like I've seen documentaries on Johnson before, but his early life really doesn't get talked about that much. Like there's some stuff that goes into him being maybe a congressman and a lot of times a senator, but they don't really discuss his relationship with his parents, the National Youth Administration. They just don't talk about it anywhere near as much as I would like for it to be discussed. Uh, or him being a secretary to a congressman. It doesn't really get mentioned that much. So it's like every time I put the window up, like the music gets louder in almost every instance. Person got so mad at me. They were like, "How could you say that the only Kennedys that matter are the brothers?" I'm like, it's true. You can take the whole generation that came after them and put them all together, and you would miss nothing. They're not really accomplished in any way that's independent from who their parents were. Like what's crazy is that RFK Jr. probably has the best resume of anyone from that generation immediately following the three, but he's getting like savage the most. Like he's the one that they're going after, like turning into a pariah. And it's really ironic because he could be argued as the best of them. Like not even joking, like you could make that argument and have some validity to it. But they're not impressive. That's all there is to it. They're just not a group of people who, barring their uncle, have really made any significant headroads in American society in the last 40 or 50 years. It's just, it's reality. So I'm sure somebody's upset, but oh well. God, I'm always amazed by the weird ways that people act on here. One thing I'm excited for is if when we get to the later parts, we can actually put up some videos in there. Just whatever I'm able to find. If I think I can, mold it to having some, you know, uh, some advantage there, I guess you could say. Oh man, it was real funny. I was so worried about, oh, I'm gonna show up later than I usually do, and I remember I got people who were upset that I was showing up as early as I did at like 6 in the morning or 8. And a lot of that just comes down to the fact that it's hard to get a parking space up here that is like Wi-Fi eligible. The later the day gets, uh, but man, I just thought it was nuts. I was like really worried about it, and it seems it was for nothing because nobody's even showing up anyway. I always have that prerequisite that I'll stay for an hour, and then if no one writes something, I'll just bounce. Yeah, they have this one lady up here, very large, everything. Um, well, the arms aren't that big, but both arms have tattoos on them. It has like dyed hair where you can kind of tell that it was originally very dark, and then you could see the dark roots. They have another one that came up here with this guy, and she has these pants that have these slits that go all the way up to like the knee, like on the side where as she's walking it. I thought it was just some really long skirt, but it's actually pants. Like I haven't seen those type before. They have that slit that goes all the way up to the knee, like just this really long slit on the side. Yeah, people really just sit in front of these places with with all their fun. I just never understood the appeal of it, just sitting in front of a coffee place and talking to somebody and waiting for your drink that takes a million minutes to get made. It's always a strange occurrence to me. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff people do that I don't understand. Mm, there's a great many things that are like that. No, I'm just wondering if I'll ever be able to do all this stuff. I mean, really, it just comes down to again taking one thing, finishing it, and then going to something else. And even if I'm not able to make all of the ones I'm thinking of doing, I'm definitely gonna make at least some of them. That's a promise you can take to the bank. Oh, I brought the rulers too. I thought these were the coolest thing ever. Got from the Ford Library. They have all the presidents on there, and on the back the signatures. Yeah, these are real fun. Oh, it's got some. I don't even know where this music comes from half the time. It sounds like it's over here, then it sounds like it's over there. It's all over the place. But looking at this, I always think about how there's such a glut of what is effectively crap during a lot of the we're still in the modern era, so when people don't know who someone is, it's usually just laziness versus like, oh, it happened over 100 years ago. How would I? But in a lot of these past cases, you can just kind of like look at this whole list on here and just sort of see where stuff starts faltering. Like after Jackson, who I'm not some big fan of, but I'll admit nonetheless he was impactful to U.S. history. After him, pretty much all the ones between him and Lincoln are kind of except for Polk. And then after Lincoln, there's a giant glut where you don't really get one that I would say is like verging on great until probably McKinley, who is overshadowed by TR. So probably out of the ones after Lincoln, if I were to say I like any of the like between him and TR, I probably would say uh well, Grant's really good on civil rights. Hayes let the South ravage uh, a lot of the Fred blacks that were there. So I probably, and he didn't do it on purpose, but it just happened. So I probably would say Grant would be the one I'd most like out of that group from the between the two of those. It'll be so crazy if I did all of these. Because most of them wouldn't require the level of detail that Johnson does. Like the modern ones, yeah, the ones after Hoover, but I definitely want to do FDR because that's supposed to be the hero of the Democratic Party, even though they barely ever their current politicians barely ever actually mention him. I wish he got invoked by the Democrats as much as Reagan gets invoked by the Republicans. I really wish he did because he's in my opinion one of the most consequential people of the 20th century. Him and Johnson. God, every time I'm reminded of these different packages I have that are supposed to come, they always have me rolling my eyes. Like so, like this thing, I ordered it at the end of last month, and it's saying the earliest release date, not release date, the earliest date I can receive it will be the 11th. I'm like, what? And it's coming from another state, one that's not necessarily close by, but I've seen stuff come quicker than that. It's weird. But I guess it is what it is. Mm. I remember this one person asked me, "Oh, who matches Ted Kennedy's influence at this point in the U.S. Senate?" I said, "Well, there's a lot of pretenders to the throne. I'd say the one that comes the closest to being a Democratic, like a liberal icon or line of the whatever term we use, line of the Senate, probably is Sanders, but I'm still not entirely sure. I guess it's more so just because of Kennedy's absence than like him truly being on that same level. Because I've seen some people who make the argument that Sanders in 2016, 2020 was like analogous to Kennedy in 1980, but I dispute that entirely because you're talking about a primary versus running against a sitting president. Oh my God, Envoy reappeared at last. Envoy, I have to ask, did you see the masterpiece? Did you see that 30-minute dive back to the past that came out a few days ago? I'm just wondering. I told you I was going to make it. I have to know. I'm just really wondering. I'm sitting here with faded breath. Now, doing one on Thurman would actually be kind of cool because he's a very important, like I'd say, probably of any politician from the South that wasn't present in the 20th century. I'd say he was one of the more significant ones, like him and Wallace probably. Uh, I mean, heck, it's the two of those that were the last presidential candidates who were third party to actually win multiple states. And I said before, after Thurman switched to the Republicans in '64, they've been able to hold on to his home state of South Carolina in every single presidential election since, with the exception of '76 when Carter won it. So he's not some legislative giant like Kennedy was, but he's someone who's still the influence of is felt today. Have seen a few minutes of it. We'll watch the rest of it soon, hopefully. Well, hopefully you leave a comment as well, because that helps with engagement. Somebody wrote something stupid talking about is part two coming out in 20 years. And, like I guess I'll try to make my point because you could tell they might be joking, but stuff like that pisses me off because this is a video that's been out for literally less than at that point less than 2 days. So to like be prodding me to release a second part that quick, I don't know. I just think it's just being a jerk. So I got rid of it. Like part one literally just came out. Is part two coming out in 20 years? Like, what's wrong with you? I said people online are just so psychotic. They say the weirdest stuff. Not grounded in any reality, in any fact, in any basis of being just being jerks. People drive me crazy on here. That's the comment I expect from someone from Wikipedia to write. But yeah, part two is going to be another 10 years of his life. It's going to be his years in the House when he was a protege of Sam Rayburn, the Speaker of the House. Um, and then we get into his two Senate campaigns, the 1941 election and the 1948 election. And the 48 election is one of the most corrupt elections arguably ever waged in American history. Uh, I mean, it was awful. I didn't even get to mention my favorite part is that when he was running for Senate in '48, he had a plane that he was able to get, and planes, according to the book, were like 250 a day if you rented them. So he lied and said, "Oh, the Veterans for Johnson Committee bought this plane for me, so he didn't have to pay as much." And he would get in the plane at like three. It was like a three-seater, three people could sit inside, and he would fly at about 100 something feet above towns with, and he'd have a microphone, like a little, the speakerphone. This is your candidate, Lyndon Johnson, for U.S. Senate speaking. And he would have his hat on. He would throw it out into the crowd, and then his staffers, who would know what town he was going to, would be in the crowd to go and retrieve the hat and to hand people out the campaign literature, like the leaflets. Man, that's the type of campaigning that, like, you get why people win when they do stuff like that. It was just so dynamic and different. And then they always talk about his work ethic, working all day long, skipping naps. They mentioned that he would go and he would call his staffers to come meet with him while he was in the bathtub. They would take notes. Greetings from Germany. Love your show. Oh, I love your healthcare. I wish we had it over here. I'm not even joking. I almost want to ban Envoy because he's made every time he shows up, and I remember that he's from the UK. I'm just thinking about the single payer, and it makes me so jealous. And somebody is playing their music at the fullest extent of the speakers and volume. But yeah, the biggest problem I've always had with these different news commentators, really on both sides, is that they just kind of expect everyone to know what they know. Like they might explain something like, "Oh, 40 years ago this happened," but in general, they don't really. And like, my thing is, I'm not some extremely unique person with this amazing superpower to go and make a doc, because anyone can make one of those. They get a book, they read it, they put it in their own words, whatever, summarize. Um, it's actually kind of, when you think about it, it's even crazier that they don't try to make those, because a lot of these bigger channels that have like a million subs or 100,000 or 500, just like the very large ones that cover the news, many of them are making so much money off of this site that they actually pay people to edit their stuff for them. So theoretically, they could have somebody, write a script for them or edit the video for them, and then they could, make one that way. I'm just saying their approach is a lot more hands off than mine, because I have to, do all of the pieces of it. Oh no, I always planned on doing documentaries again. It was just always a thing of, what format are we going to do this, and are we going to try to do some 3 4 hour video, and then people don't watch it, and I get, pissed off, because I think when it's divided into more parts, uh again, it takes the load off. Like, I don't have to go, oh man, I have to adapt a 500 page. No, I only have to do 100 something. Oh man, I have to adapt the six. No, only 200. Oh, I have to, no. So anytime we split it up like that, it's less taxing for the person that is making it. Still laughing at Ramaswamy saying that he would win in the landslide. I just, God, people will say anything they can to hype up themselves to their supporters. It's really sad, and they don't even care how illogical it is. They don't care how many times it's been proven that this doesn't happen anymore. They just want to believe. People, if they want to believe in something, they will throw out all the evidence of it. I'm not kidding, man. They will. Okay, that stupid thing is over there. They will make sure that they don't have to listen to any type of reasoning or logic at all. Man, I miss my air conditioner. I really do. My AC. But it is what it is. Oh man, if it, I'm really looking forward to next Monday because since there's no day off for a bunch of people that aren't even working anymore anyway, then I'll be able to do the stream from there instead of here. That's the one saving grace of next week. Ugh. Ugh. God, everywhere some music is playing. That's crazy. Like I know when they have these stores, they want people to like have something to listen to. That's nuts. It started. It was like coming from over there, and I rolled the window up for over there, and then now it's whatever. I'm so done with this. Too much music. All these damn songs. I just can't believe Envoy really left a comment on my video. It's been so long since I've seen one of those. I feel like he's morphed into this ghost. He just vanished from all of existence. I remember when Envoy used to come and write stuff, and now he doesn't even appear anymore. Yeah, I've really lost all favor with him. But like I said, I'm just trying not to overexert myself because I'm real serious. And I said when I used to like do stuff for Wikipedia, I had whole list of articles I wanted to see improved. Um, just different like goals on there. And what kept happening was every time you would try to forward one of those goals, the jerks that run that site, and not even just them, but like these little pissant guys too that aren't even making anything, they would delete stuff and say this isn't important and all the rest of that stuff. Just because you can source something doesn't mean it's notable. It's just it was really obnoxious. So I just said to hell with it. Like when I go on there, it's maybe to like do a sentence and that's it. I barely add on there anymore. And I already also stated that this is I had my realization with them a while back where I said these people are always going to treat me like this. They're never going to thank me if I do something good. They're only ever going to acknowledge me if it's something that they want to screw with or mess with. They're never going to make me a mod. So if they mess with me again to any serious degree, it's on. I'm going to be saying and typing so much nasty stuff. I probably wouldn't be able to make a video declaring what I said without Wiki Piss was begging for money again, like I think a week ago. Matter of fact, I think I screenshotted that because it's never this. It's the same message, but it's always written differently, so they can try and make it seem like they're not bots. Where is it? Hold on. I'm over here reading the article and then I see. Okay, this was from Wednesday. Sorry to interrupt, but today's fundraiser won't last long. This Wednesday, we ask you to join the 2% of readers who give. If everyone reading this right now gave just $3, we'd hit our goal in a couple of hours. $3 is all we ask. I've seen a message way too many times whenever I visit that site. And it's not a good one because, like I said, they are not going to shut down because you won't give their greedy, money grubby, little dirty fingers some coins. At worst, they would have to put up ads, which, like I said, there's a whole bunch of sites that put up ads. Wikipedia is going nowhere. It's going to stay online for the next until the internet ends. It's one of the most secure. Honestly, YouTube has a higher chance of going down than Wikipedia does because Wikipedia is just a bunch of text. YouTube has to host a bunch of videos. But no, there's nothing to worry. If you actually were concerned about the welfare of WikiPiss, then I got sad news for you. They don't need your concern, your money, your views, nothing. You weren't even here. I didn't even get to mention that there was a guy on, not on Wikipedia, but on WikiQuote. That's a sister site to Wikipedia, where it's just a bunch of quotations. Like the whole site is just quotes from different famous people on their pages. And I kid you not, I had this one page I'd been editing since March of this year. Nobody said anything. Nobody had a problem with it at all until last Sunday. I add something, and the mod deletes what I just added, and I take on the chin. I go, okay, you know what? It's annoying, but it's one thing, whatever. Then the mod deletes everything I've written on that page, including stuff that other people have written. Basically, reverses months and months of what I've added, and man, I went off. I called him stuff that I can't even say in this stream without getting demonetized. And I really thought like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna get banned. I don't care. We're done, right? But no, I didn't get banned. He barely responded to the like, I'll put it this way, I've never spoken to, like, written stuff that nasty to any of them before in all the years of being screwed with the dude. The article would like, okay, even if you're not an editor, what big pages on that site look like, right? When that article was first, before I edited it, was like 28,000 bytes. It was like 300,000. So he got rid of over 200,000, and probably 14,000 words just in that, like, this big scrub that came out of nowhere. Again, had no problem with anything I'd written up until that point. And then after you write one thing he doesn't like, he goes, let me get rid of this. Actually, no, let me get rid of everything. So I was pissed. And make no mistake about it, if that happens again, he's gonna get called the same stuff. Holy cow, that much. Why? Because they're control freaks. That's the honest answer. Because listen, I'll put it this way: when you edit a bunch of articles on a site and they don't mess with any of them except one, and you've written all of them the same way, there's no difference between how you write one versus the other. They're just trying to be controlling. Because it's like, if that one were so bad, if your edits are so bad, why are you only getting rid of this one? Why not just delete everything I've written? It's either too much work or the one that they got rid of was just them being a jerk, which I do think was the motive for doing that. Just trying to control somebody. I literally cannot say what I called that person because I'll get demonetized. Like, it was that bad. I'll put it this way: I compared them to someone that you would see on a street corner. That's what they are. They're always begging for money. But without people like you, they wouldn't have any info on that site in the first place. Well, they're just not appreciative of people like me. Uh, what it is that 90 something percent of the time when somebody edits on there and it's brief, they don't care that much. But if you try to edit something and somebody doesn't like it, that's when they finally acknowledge your. So, like, you could have a page where the whole thing was written by you, you've expanded it, you've taken the time to get all the different sources, etc. Hell, like, if you're like me, you might even have some books that you use for citations, which you have to go out and get with your own money. And they don't care. They will not say thank you. They will not say good job. Like, you will hear 50 people say, "What the hell are you doing? Your edit is awful," before you'll hear two people say, "Hey, that was a nice addition. I appreciate it." Like, I can count on one hand the number of times that someone has complimented me on that site. Even at the height of my edits, like when I was editing on there every day about 4 or 5 years ago, still barely any time. The only time you ever truly get noticed is when they want to trash you. Why did you add this? This isn't notable. I'll never forget when the damn mod, and this guy is so bad I can make a whole video on him. When like, I made a political positions article for the junior senator from California, and the mod deleted the article, and he was like, "This is not notable," and da, 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 da. And I'm like, dude, politicians, like, there's literally dozens of articles like this where they go in, like, they have an article about their positions, where they stand on the issues. And not only did somebody else bring the article back, like, they reversed his attempt to delete it, but that same person ended up becoming the next vice president of the United States. Like months later, I just thought that was funny. It's like, yeah, the positions of the person who is now a heartbeat away from being the most powerful person on earth, yeah, they definitely don't matter. I said all those mods, just, they're awful. But don't worry, the one that deleted my thing, if he he got a surprise. And it's going to be the same thing on the regular site. If they mess with me as aggressively as they did in that video I made on them those years ago, I'm going to say so much nasty stuff that they have to ban me. And I won't even care. Being in a position of such power as they, especially if they abuse it with others. Yeah, they just arbitrarily decide, I don't want this. They don't seem to come to care if they are fair or not. Oh, they're definitely not fair. That's why I said the site is really just a bunch of control freaks who all think they're smarter and better than everyone else because they have powers on a crappy uh, online encyclopedia that people only visit because there's nothing else like it. Um, but that's really where all of their power comes from, just being on this stupid site. I'm a Wikipedia editor. Great, good job. I'm a mod. So their claim to fame is like the stupidest thing in the world. I edit on this site that anyone can edit on, and I delete stuff that people write. But the biggest problem is, it's like when you can write something massive, just a whole bunch of stuff that took you months to just research, etc., and then somebody else can just snap their fingers and get rid of it. Then what's the point of even contributing? And this guy was like, "Well, you don't add stuff because you think it'll be there forever." It's like, no, that's not the point I'm making, idiot. If you can add something and for months nobody has a problem with it, nobody does anything to bother it, and then later on someone's like, "I don't think this is good." What's the point? I'm very serious when I ask that. Like, why bother? I want you to edit on this site where if we don't feel like your edit should be there, it could be 2 months, 2 years, 200 years. We can just get rid of it, and there you go. And remember, you don't even get credit for the stuff you do on there. Like, yes, somebody that goes in the contributions can see like who added what, but why would they do that? And they're not going to be like, oh, this person added the most, you know? Why don't they factor in the amount of work invested into putting up that stuff just for them to decide to get rid of it? Because they're jerks. I hate to keep sounding so, generic, but it really just comes down to a group of people. See, like in real life, you know damn well that if you wrote something and somebody ripped a page out of your notebook, that all that stuff you wrote on it, they probably, you remember what you said, get chinned. But since they're on the computer, and especially since they're typing stuff, they feel like they can do whatever they want. Like, I don't even know anybody at work that has something like that happen where they type up a whole bunch of stuff and then the head person like just gets rid of all of it, just like that. No repercussions. Like they don't get their mod status denied. They don't even get talked to by the people that run the site. I'll never forget. I had a page I made, and within I kid you not, within 5 minutes of it existing, it was nominated for deletion. And basically, no one besides the guy who nominated it and somebody else thought it should be deleted, so it stayed. It's still on there today, and I was like, isn't it sad that no one is going to tell this guy, hey, look, we appreciate your edits, but can you not be so quick to try deleting stuff? Like maybe see if other pages like this already exist. And no one said that. No one tried to condemn it. No one said, hey, we shouldn't be so quick to discourage people. And like the reason I went off on that guy on WikiQuote is because I'm not even joking. Within 10 minutes of him deleting every single thing I added to that page, he comes on my page and says, your contributions are, of course, always welcome. I'm like, what? You're going to tell me that my additions are welcome after you just deleted all of them? That would be like me kicking somebody out of a movie theater and be like, your visits to the theater are always welcome. Like, you literally just kicked me out. You said you threw me out. You took your boot and stuck it up my behind and got me out of there. And you're going to talk about I'm welcome? The hell? That's why I would never donate to WikiPiss or any of its sister sites. If my edits aren't good enough for that site, then my money isn't either. That doesn't add up at all. Megumi, imagine if I block you, like while you're writing stuff, right? I block you, and then I go to your channel and I'm like, your visits to my channel are of course always welcome. It's like you literally just deleted me from your page. How how are my visits welcome? Like what? No, it doesn't add up. So I said, don't ever give them a penny. I'd sooner donate to one of the chicks on OnlyFans than to WikiPiss. Also, I was going to ask you this, Megumi, because I wanted to see if this makes sense to you. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You don't even get credit or paid for doing any of that stuff. It's completely out of choice and desire. And well, I would say that there actually are paid editors. They have to disclose that they're paid by some other organization before they edit. Um, but even with that, it's like I have a lot of hobbies, stuff I do where I don't get paid to do it. If I just draw a picture, I'm not going to get paid for whatever, doesn't matter. But I don't have any hobbies besides wiki piss editing where there's like a pushback where there's someone telling you, why did you do this? Delete that. Why did you, just there, none of them have this like weird aggressive positioning by the by other people involved with them, I should say. Now I was gonna ask you if you made a video and it was part one, and remember it's only been up for like a day or 2 days. Does it make any sense for someone to comment, is part two coming out in 20 years? Remember, part one just came out a day ago, 2 days ago, not even half a week. And this person, is part two coming out in 20 years? I tell you, man, I really despise people online. I really do. Because it's like you'll have a video and you'll have to sit here and write a script that in many cases is several pages long. Then after you finish writing the script, which by itself could take a week, if not even longer, you have to sit here and edit the audio, cut out all the stuttering, grab the pictures. I hope they were, but I didn't ask if they were. I just got rid of it. I was so annoyed. Like, that's why I said, man, people online want you to just work yourself to death. Like part two of that thing is going to be an adaptation of 200 pages of a book. And I'm supposed to in the span of one day, by this person's logic, read 200 pages of a book, type all of it out, record it, then edit it. That's why I said, man, people just, they really do think of content creators as like slaves or something. It's really sad. Like, I'm not even joking. Sometimes I feel like I have shackles on my arms when I see stuff like that. Like, hey, go do this. No, they don't consider any of the people they watch human. That's why they can. And remember, you go to their channel completely blank, no videos. Because a lot of people who don't make stuff, and we've talked about this before, they really believe the rest of us can just click our heels and suddenly a video is created. When you put out a video, they expect you to spawn another video to upload at any time you want. I told you about that one dingbat that I was telling her about, this documentary this guy made that took him several years. It took him 5 years to make it. And she said, wow, why did it take him so long? I'm like, dingbat, do you not realize he had to fly across various parts of America and record interviews with all types of people from all over the place? And first of all, the funding to even be able to do that is, astronomical. That's like several thousands right there instantly. But it goes back to that thing of how people who don't do anything really believe that you can just create something. Just snap of your fingers. There you go. Why did it take him so long? It's like, sorry that regular people don't have studios behind them that can throw $1 million at them to make a movie. I'm not even joking, man. Some of the people on this site act like children. Like, I refuse to believe that. I feel like 90 something percent of YouTube is just like toddlers and 10-year-olds, because the stuff they write and the lack of logic. I refuse to believe these are like grown adults writing this type of stuff. I don't buy it. If it is, we have truly reached the bounds of stupidity. They always seem to not think when they actually type. No, like if you go on YouTube, go and read comments from people and either like judge them by the punctuation or the point that's made, and ask yourself, does that sound like something an adult wrote? Like, I'm serious. When I had those guys that go on my stream talk about you're so ugly, it's like I stopped hearing comments like that when I was out of junior high and like early high school. So that's why I said it feels like I'm just online surrounded by a bunch of kids. Like, I don't believe these are adults, especially when you remember that most of them don't show their face. Because anybody can come online and say there's someone else. That's why the romance guys are so funny to me. It's like, you want me to believe you're sitting over here in your mansion with your wife. It's like, dude, no proof, no evidence ever. I'm sitting here with my wife and I'm buying my Lamborghini, and no, I don't believe that at all. The avatar of the football player was the funniest, one of the biggest clowns. And what I think is so funny, it's like, you're gonna call somebody else mediocre, but you're so crappy, so worthless, so bottom of the barrel that you can't even show your face. You can't, like think about it, if you had this amazing body that you've been working out so much and you're so handsome, wouldn't you show yourself? You would think, right? Like, I don't like chicks on Instagram, but you know what? A lot of them think that they look good. So guess what they do? They show their face. They pull out that stupid little camera. They start flexing around, doing all the little different angles. Why be content with being mediocre? It's like, who the hell are you to call me that? I would have truly reached mediocrity if I have nothing better to do but sit around trying to assess the romantic life of other men. It's weird, man. Remember, I'm invested in your growth, and then you look on his like in your email. That guy subscribed to me 2 years before that and hadn't left a single comment since then. So invested they never can watch any of your stuff. What a real investment, huh? They're very concerned about you. That's concern trolling, isn't it? Yes, when you have people who don't actually show a desire or care for you, but they're good at like playing this game of, oh, I'm worried about whatever. It absolutely is concern trolling. I gave you the example of the person where they're talking about you need to get your car washed, and they won't spend 1 cent of gas to to refuel it. Nothing. They won't pay for anything having to do with that vehicle, but they're going to talk about they'll pay to get it washed. Like, no, you don't get to decide that. I'd rather have $8 put in the gas tank than on getting it washed when it's just going to get dirty again in a week or two. Same person was trying to dictate what type of food I ate. I said, listen, when you don't buy somebody food, or excuse me, you almost never buy somebody food. You don't get to tell them what to eat. The hell? And that's the thing. People just won't accept when some stuff just isn't their place to comment on. They just don't want to admit that reality. That there are some things that they just shouldn't be running their mouth about. So I said, people need to just get lost with all this fake concern. I already told you before that the internet is the worst place to go to expecting people to care about you. Like, you'll have someone who tries to give their advice or whatever, but very few people on here truly are concerned with your well, especially if you're a content creator, because they want to like milk as much entertainment out of you as they can. I really don't like people that often do that. It really doesn't help. No, they're not helping anybody. They're just running their mouth. I gave you the example of the woman that had the great romance debate where she was talking about um not Triple L, the other one, the one that was on like Discord, and like I didn't even ask her for advice, and she was like, I'm so frustrated talking to you about, it's like, but nobody wanted you to talk about this anyway. So yeah, it's all these knuckleheads that just drag themselves into stuff that has nothing to do with them, and then they get mad when they can't change your mind. Unsolicited advice is extremely infuriating. Well, that's why I was so glad she was getting angry, because it's like, you get what you gave, right? You gave unsolicited advice that I didn't want, and now your advice is frustrating you as well, because it's on the receiving end of someone that doesn't want it, of someone that thinks it's crap. Oh, those mood swings are fast, man. You could have a woman saying she loves you on Monday and throwing darts at your picture on Tuesday. By the way, I was going to ask you this because I think it's important. Um, Now, look, I'll never tell you that I'm making any amount of money on YouTube that would even remotely assist me with anything. In fact, actually, yesterday I was happy because I made like $1. I was like, that's how rare it is for me to get like a tangible tiny bit of money where I could go and buy a soup from the market with it. But I wanted to pose this question to you. Let's say you're a monetized content creator. Okay, you're someone that makes videos. You don't get that paid that much for it, but you still get paid depending on if people watch ads, whatever. And let's say you have a friend who you perform a service for every single week that tangibly costs you money. You could drive them somewhere, you could be going to tutor them, but you have to still drive over there and it's quite a ways away. So let's just say, like, every week you're doing something for this friend, right? Every week you're doing something that requires you to get up and either do something that's going to cost you money, again, like driving far or whatever. And you say to this person, you know what? You know my channel. Can you go and maybe watch something here or there so I can get, you know, like somebody to play an ad for or whatever? And they're like, I don't rewatch videos except for when they're music videos. You're like, well, wait a second. You just said you don't rewatch videos, but then you admit to rewatching music videos. So you actually do rewatch videos. You're just not willing to do something that I guess you don't normally do to help a person that is helping you. Do you understand where I would be upset in a scenario like that, where there's a tangible thing that you do for this person every week, and you ask them to for remember to do something for you that's free. They don't have to buy a new computer. They don't have to donate to you. All they have to do is watch a commercial. Like I said, man, the ultimate lesson of this channel is that you can do things for people, things that cost you money, things that cost you time. And whenever you need a little bit of help back, you request a little bit of aid, whatever, they just couldn't be bothered. Okay, that is weird, and I understand why you would be irritated by their reluctance. I don't watch videos more than once. And, I just have to say this, because we talked about this before. There's a lot of videos on here that I watch repeatedly for different reasons. Sometimes I find it um, very beneficial in terms, like, let's say, like, for example, there are plenty of documentaries I've watched dozens of times, or at least several times, because I want to remember the information that's being told to me. There's some stuff I think is really funny, so I watch it more than once. Um, it really just depends. Like, but you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of reasons that people would watch something more than one time. And I even said to this person, thank God I have people that aren't like you that watch my stuff, because I'd be screwed. But it's just sad that, you do this thing for this person, and they just can't be bothered to assist you back. Yeah, they don't care, it seems. I've watched a lot of your videos many times, like your older streams or romance videos. Oh yeah, I mean, we can't go back. Is that thing is surged to like 2000 something, and that video is not even a year old. It's like 9 months, 8 months, and then the stream of the century is at several hundred, because it was the stream of the century, so there's never going to be another one as good as that again. That was the pinnacle of streaming for the until at least 2100. But I'm just saying, I think it's really sad when you do something for somebody and they, here's this thing they can do for you for free, and they're like, nah. I'm telling you, man, you can give you can do. It's just I'm very irritated. That's all I can say. I don't watch stuff more than once. Shut up! You barely even watch anything at all on my channel. Yeah, that's crazy. Even if it is something they don't normally do, it is something that can be done very easily. It'll just take up a little of their time. Well, they just don't seem like I told you before, when stuff doesn't affect people, they don't care. When you live with your parents and you don't have to worry about making 300 a month plus whatever other expenses you have, you don't care if somebody else can't make it or if they have to, you know, put up this many videos to get an extra dollar, or it just doesn't bother them. Well, they don't care about helping anybody. It seems. Well, they're another one of those click a button and vanish people. But I'm saying that when stuff doesn't affect people, even if it affects someone that they claim to like, care about, etc., they still will only go so far. So, like I said, after that conversation, I'm definitely scaling back my activities with him. That really pissed me off. One of the most minute things you could ever do is watch a video and the ad on top of it doesn't cost you a penny. And dude, it's like imagine if like okay, just to even give you a bigger example, there are some ads that are long, right? Like 2 hour ads, hour long ads. Nobody's asking to watch anything that's that long. But I want you to think about this. The person that you're doing this activity for, this service for, it's usually an hour and a half to 2 hours that you have to spend like doing stuff for them. But they can't watch a 30-second ad or a 2 minute ad. I mean, that like or a video that's a lot of times less than 10 minutes. So you get again, like as we get more into this and break down piece by piece how insane it is, it looks even crazier. We talk about the vast majority of subs who engage the channels they are sub to. Well, that's why it's funny when you have the people that come on here talking trash, like, oh, you only have 3 people watching. It's like I see plenty of channels that have, I'm not even joking, 100,000 subscribers, and they can't even get like 50 people to show up. Like, give me a break. And I already said before, I'm not even that bothered by people not showing up to streams like some giant number, like because you can always just watch on the replay, and people a lot of times do watch the replay. Dude, my favorite thing is watching TYT's channel. They have 5 million subs. I've never seen them do a stream that had more than maybe 6,000, 7,000 people watch, which again is big, right? Large number of people, but it's nowhere near the sub count because that their channel has been around since I was a little kid, and their channel mostly consists of dead subs. People that haven't watched a video from them probably in like 10 years. So their number is vastly overinflated. It's a damn shame when you have 5 million subs, you can't even get 500,000 views of video. Like forget a million, which is a fifth of your subs, they can't even get 500,000. Hey, Akatsuki Merchant, I hope you tell Jem to leave a comment on the documentary. I worked very hard on it. He was talking about it was a 9.5 out of 10. I was like, man, write something. I mean, even Envoy wrote something. He's been on a damn disappearing act for the last year and a half. Even he came out the woodworks to leave a reply. Oh, let me ask Akatsuki Merchant the same question. If you had someone that was doing stuff for you that cost them money, damn near every weekday from Monday through Friday, and in return they're like, "Hey, I got this channel. Can you watch an ad on it so I can make, a penny?" And they're like, "I don't rewatch stuff." You get where that's screwed up, right? Where you're supposed to go out and come to them and do stuff for them that costs you money, but then they won't watch one of your videos and it's ad by extension, which would cost them nothing. I tell you, man, I live in the twilight zone. I'm very pissed about it. Like I'm kind of, it's been like several days. It's like it just happened. Um, but I'm telling you, they're gonna pay for that. And look, I'm not making no weird type of threat. I'm saying that I feel like if I can do something for them that's like, what is that, 10 hours a week, 8 hours a week, 6 hours a week, it damn near is like a job. I'm scaling it back. I might get them maybe twice a week now. Because that really upsets me. But honestly, I feel like making a whole stream about all the different people that I've assisted either in real life or on the internet, and just like how ungrateful a lot of them tend to be. Like, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of channels where I was subscribed to it for a while or for a long time, and I would like promote the stuff or like rewatch stuff to help with their views. And I'm not even joking. There was one guy I used to talk to, this about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. He had a channel that he got convinced by somebody else just get rid of, right? I'll start over. He made a new one. I subbed to it. I had several videos I really liked, so I would rewatch them. And then he deleted the whole channel. And when he deleted the whole channel, I was pissed. I said, I will never subscribe to or help you again. You wasted my time. I'm through with you. Um, and I had another person that person that did the whole I'm having troubles with my ex, so I'm going to ignore you for a month or for however long I decide. I was helping that person too. So I just feel like I'm done with assisting people. They're not appreciative. They do things that are counterintuitive to what needs to be done. They're just not a group of people I really find myself that enthralled by. I'm telling you, man, when that guy deleted his channel after I like, I wish you could have seen it, man. Like, I would play the stuff on my computer, on my TV, on my phone, and it was like, again, the views were going up because I was putting stuff on there, and he just got rid of everything. And that's why I warned that other one, the one that did the thing with the boyfriend. I said, listen, if you ever, because she said she used to have old content where she used to show her face. She calls herself ugly. I didn't say that. I've never seen what she looks like. I can live with the mystery. I don't care about seeing what she looks like, whatever. But I said to her, look, you told me that you had stuff you deleted in the past. If you take your current channel and delete either most of the stuff on there or the whole thing altogether, I will never assist you ever again. I told her point blank. I said, when I assist somebody, I go all in every day. I'm watching stuff or whatever. But when they blow up everything, then they blow up their contract with me too. I said, okay, well, I'm done. It is crazy. Oh, the window down a little bit more back there. It's absolutely insane. That's why I said people just, they don't care. There's a lot of content creators are just extremely impatient. Like they think a video is supposed to be made tomorrow and then, oh, it's got 1,000 views. No, it doesn't work that way. You can have stuff you put up years ago and people just suddenly start clicking on it over and over. I tell you that why I don't approach video. That thing was uploaded in February of that year, and all of a sudden in like September and October, I start seeing, you know, 5K, 6K, 7. I'm like, what in the world? That's like helping someone repair their car, then they go run their car into busy traffic. Like I said, when they do that, I'm done. And I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a person I'm talking to online. I don't care if it's my friend in real life. I don't care if it's my cousin. I don't care if it's my ex-wife. If you make a channel and I put views on it and then you get rid of the whole channel or get rid of it, I'm done with you. I wash my hands. Man, this lady came up here. She got this tank top on. Not tank top, it's like a crop top. Got some nice long hair, little booty shorts. You would think she would have more stuff on because it's like a little chilly outside, but I guess not. People just show up and whatever. They have this other one that has a halter top and some pajama pants. And she has this like really big knot, like her hair tied up in this knot in the back. You could tell she just like jumped out of bed to come get some coffee. Oh, by the way, let me give you an update on the. Do I want to mention that without having any proof? Um, I'm debating it. Anyways, one of my least favorite relatives apparently got some kind of surgery done, which I find extremely like. Listen, you can't talk trash about the way somebody else looks and get surgery done. That's not a thing you can do at that point. I did see a woman today that had so much tattoos all around legs and body and oh yeah, the ink era is in full effect, man. This guy that was parked right next to me a moment ago, he had tattoos all over his arm. I didn't even get to make this video, but there was a news article that came out and it was breaking down tattoos by every demographic, and it said that like I think it's only a third of the wealthiest people, or it's like I think 12%, low digit number, right? Have tattoos. So basically, when you get a tattoo, statistically, you are taking the part of someone who's poor or lower income and who doesn't have a college degree, which I thought was extremely interesting because it's like tattoos are actually a mark, if you think about it, of informed lower classmanship in terms of like your net worth. Like, I'm not saying it makes you a bad person, but statistically, if you have a tattoo, you have a lesser you are less likely to own things, to have a degree. Like, you're just more inclined to be worse off than someone who doesn't have one. Man, this guy right here, he's holding his baby in one arm and tattoo on the other, and it's over the whole arm, like from like right here all the way up to here. I used to think tattoos were cool, but now they're just tacky, and they are everywhere, man. I tell you, I always remember it was May of 2015 when that 40-year-old relative picked me up and tried to show me their tattoo. I put my hand over my face in disgrace. I just thought the statistics were interesting because it's not saying that having one automatically means you're going to be poor. but it is saying that having one is in line with something a person who is not well off or doesn't have a degree would do. I mean, I believe it because it's like if you go and look at rich people, just in any country, how many of them do you see with tattoos? How many guys working on the New York Stock Exchange? They have the snake tattoo and the lizard tattoo. Yeah, so I can believe that. Where's that video that oh wow, it's little kids cursing at each other and they do it in public too. They only That just shows they don't even care. Like I remember when I was a kid and and I had classmates that swore, they would always make sure to do it on like some site, not sites. Well, site is in like a location, somewhere where they knew nobody could see them. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, those things you did when you were a kid you didn't want your parents to know about? Like they would go out of their way to make sure nobody but their friends heard them. And unfortunately, we don't live in that era anymore. Kids are just growing up way too fast for my taste. Yeah, when I was little, we always made sure to curse when adults weren't around. Yeah, same thing. Starting in fifth grade, make sure you look both ways. Make sure no adults behind you, in front of you, anywhere. Where's that news story I was gonna see if I could find? There was a video. I don't. I probably won't be able to find it here because it's. He put up like 20 videos. He just sits on this stupid site. But I was saying he puts up like 20 or 30 videos on there, and the only way I can find the video is if I go and just dig through all this stuff or play all of it, which I'm probably not going to do. In this era, unfortunately, yes, unfortunately, so yeah, I can relate, man. In this era, it seems to finish with all that and just do anything with no repercussions for any. No, they can get away with failing grades. They can get away with terrorizing their classmates. It's sad. Oh, is this it? I'm definitely getting demonetized after that. I actually wasn't expecting him to curse, so that was my error. I should have watched this in advance. That's the end. I already know that yellow dollar sign is waiting for me. Whatever. It is what it is. Oh, here you can get demonetized for anything, man. It could be a bad word. It could be like a term that is actually true, but you can't say it without getting some. It's goofy. It's a sham scam. And what do you think of the current era of dating? It's a sham scam. And people on eBay are always trying to get me to get something. They're like, "Hey, you can get this book for $3," and I'm good. Mm. I didn't even get to ask Akatsuki Merchant if he saw the documentary. He probably didn't. He's probably is that dog that was messing with him probably ate up the computer at this point. He's using his phone. Don't a lot of people monetize their videos that have profanity in them? I've heard it depends on the curse word. And also, I'm not gonna lie, I also think it depends on the channel size. There's one channel that gets millions of views and they swear every video. But because YouTube can make money off of it, doesn't really care. Because YouTube is like literally printing gold bars from their channel. They're like, all right, anything goes. And I said before, YouTube's guidelines are a joke. If you get big enough, like you have 1 million subscribers or whatever, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Like I know that like for example on American TV, you're not supposed to be able to say the F word or the S word, but you should be able to say the A word and the B word, and be able to not have any problems with restrictions or whatever. But I'm telling you that the bigger your channel is, the more stuff you can get away with. I know a guy who put up a 5, 6, 7 hour video filled to the brim with every swear word you could think of. Nothing but ads because it's got over millions of views. So the YouTube's like, yeah, give us that green. This site is a joke when it comes to its rules, man. The only thing they ever really cracked down on like really hard was probably the antivirus stuff. But even that was like, okay, just don't say this and you'll be fine. It wasn't like, oh, these certain words. No. So I said, if you have a big channel, you can do whatever you want. Wow. This woman just walked out. She's got on these booty shorts. Nice figure, I have to admit. This other one over here, though, not so much. That was a whiplash. Like, oh, this one's not. Oh, never mind. Oh, God. No, those large channels they're like gods. They come on here and they can they violate every rule. Well, I'm saying like on American TV, they have swear words you can and can't use. But even that has like I know Showtime had some kind. I don't know if it was their streaming service, but they bought some kind of premium package where they could say their shows could say whatever they wanted. So there's even that has like ways of wiggling around it. And there's a lot of news channels where, like for example, with C-SPAN, they play public broadcast of various news segments, and when people swear, they don't censor it. When people call in, they say don't curse, but when people call in and they play the thing in the morning, they don't censor that. So it really just depends. But again, if I get the monetized, whatever, like I'm not making anything off here anyway. Especially with that friend that I'm supposed to drive to go see them for for 90 minutes every weekday, but they can't spend 9 minutes watching a video to give me a penny. So it's whatever. Dating is a sham most because of how cold and impersonal it feels. It never feels like I'm making a genuine connection with anyone. I feel more like I'm bargaining for the attention of narcissists. I mean, that's kind of what it is, like just the way that these people act. God, oh my. Okay, remember I gave the example of how when I see men, they're like skinny or, whatever, and then like the women they're with are like massive. Uh Good example right here. These two guys, I'm not gonna say I don't think they go to the gym or anything, but they're average weight, regular looking guys. But that woman, man, oh my god, and like it's I don't get it, man. I already told you before, if that's the only option I have, I'd rather just stay single forever. I'm not even lying. Like if that's as good as it gets, it's not good. I'm not joking. The guys look normal. They look like they could probably be playing football or baseball or go for a walk every day or something. But that woman, man, just ugh. Like I'm turning my face away. This is awful. I don't even. I'm trying to make sure I don't see that anymore. I'm telling you, I hardly ever see truly obese men at this point. I very rarely see that. But the obese women, they are in full effect. And this lady just disappeared. There was an older lady that actually looked much better. She probably, like, to me, she looked like she's in her 40s or 50s. She had, like, decent figure. You could tell she keeps in basic health. A lot of these chicks like going to get some coffee, it seems. Huh? Oh yeah. And I've seen some of them walk away. Like, I always just get the one drink by itself. Maybe I'll get like a little piece of bread or whatever. A lot of them will have a whole tray of drinks, and sometimes they'll be by themselves. So unless they're taking it home to somebody else, that they might be drinking these throughout the day or whatever. God, man, jeez. I'm trying as hard as I can to look away. I do get curious as to, like, people talk about on how unhealthy the food is, but why do the guys look normal? Like what? Like if everything is just so unhealthy and it's why did the men look regular? They look like normal. Like I wouldn't even think twice about saying anything about them. Just weird, man. I swear. Being chubby is one thing, but eventually it's just too much. Look, man, I'm just gonna say this. Oh, look, now there's another woman talking to him, and she's normal too. So that's why I said, like, this is not a thing that I'm. Because, listen, I don't expect people to have muscles. I don't expect them to go and exercise every single day. But gee, the other one is like not that is like a little bit over it, but it's still nowhere near as bad as their friend. I take that back. The other one's got a little bit on him, but still nowhere near as much as the one I mentioned. Like that is insane. Said, holy hell. That's the one good thing that came from me coming up here every week, just seeing all the different types of people, and that has been interesting. I'm not gonna lie. God, man. I went walking for 40 minutes yesterday, like almost 50 minutes. Just taking care of yourself, it seems, is getting quite uncommon, unfortunately, for a lot of chicks. And dude, I'm telling you, I like when I in real life, every time I see a person who I would define as being morbidly obese, who has like the double chin thing going on, it's almost always a woman. Like I really would have to sit here and think about the last time I saw a guy that was the weight of this lady in front of me. It's really not even funny. Like I'm not like I'm really not trying to make fun of somebody, and I'm not because I'm not showing any pictures or whatever. But it's like a recurring thing that it's only chicks that look this way, to where even the men they're around look normal. Mm. I've seen big dudes, but I've never seen. I'll tell you about that one woman that came up here. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she was wearing this like this black top. It was like a little tank top, and this. Now they're dancing. Oh, they stopped. Thank God. Then she had this like what's it called? Leopard print pair of shorts, and man, those things look like they were about to pop off. Like just. I was like, oh my god. Jesus, man. That's insane. Then there is that subsection of guys who are into these big looking. Well, you know what? That's still on the woman because unless the guy is forcing her to eat or something, then they're I mean they're choosing this. So yeah, but I mean, I'm not surprised. There's guys that are into everything. Like I said, you got this woman that looks like she could be the other one's mom, and she is so much better looking. So much better looking. It's not even funny. Got the nice long hair. Like looks good. It's from an objective standpoint. So I said there are some people who are like getting further up there, and they actually take care of themselves. So these younger ones that you see, they have no excuse. I'm telling you, man, people are so nuts. Says, well, yeah, it's because men don't care about looks as much as women do. Dude, I already told you, men don't care about anything other than if you have a triangle. You can like I'm really dead serious when I say there are so many women that I've seen either when I used to go to school, when I worked at different jobs, even online, where I don't think they're attractive at all for different reasons. Sometimes I just don't think in the face they're nice, whatever. But they still have a boyfriend. They still have men that are interested in them. Like there truly is no such thing as as a woman who is so ugly as to not be able to find at least several men over the course of her lifetime that are willing to be with her. I truly believe that there's no that there are men who are considered ugly because women don't like them, whatever, for the 900 different reasons. But chicks, they'll have access to men before they can even have access to something to eat. I've noticed this from a young age when growing up. Dude, I'll never forget. I had a classmate in 12th grade, and like, I don't have any problem with at different ethnic groups. I had a bunch of beautiful Hispanic chicks I went to school with that I was fine with the appearances of, etc. But one of them was so like, I swear to you, man, she's, you know how they have those dogs where they put the hair in front of the face. That's what she needed. I didn't think she was attractive in the slightest. She wasn't in shape, right? Had like that refrigerator build. Um, Nothing about her physically appealing whatsoever. Had a boyfriend. Like I was shocked. I said, ugh, like men will take anything. I'm not even joking. You could take a damn garbage recycler and some paper and make the paper look like a triangle, and some man would try to stick his you know what in there. Like that's how gross they are with these chicks. Like they just a- anything with them is good enough. And oh my god, man. Like I said, I get it. Just when you're starved, right? You take anything. But I'm sorry, I'll never lower my standards to want this. So people can get mad all they want. I don't care. Oh, oh, Megumi, did you like the phrase "the Great Triangle Hope," where people are like, "There will be a woman that comes someday and likes you, just at an indefinite time. One day, a woman will descend from the sky, and you'll be her favorite guy." That's one of my favorite new jokes. I just love the idea that they're like preaching about this magic, amazing, great, terrific woman, and the person they're saying this to is like, what the hell? A woman that none of us are privy to the existence of. Yeah, sounds about right. Well, dude, like it's one thing to say you think eventually somebody will meet a person that they'll go on a date with, like whatever. But it's another to be like, okay, eventually some woman will show up and she will be mesmerized by you to where she's asking you. It's like, dude, what world do you live in? Chicks find men attractive all the time and don't say a goddamn word. Like we know that for fact. I just think it's nuts, man. By the way, I told you this year my channel's been getting more views than ever before. It's at like a 160% increase over last year. I just always think about if it became, and I'm not saying I ever would get like 3,000 subs, but just like if it ever actually did like take off view wise, having chicks show up, and I'm like, oh, where did these Johnny come latelys appear from? Where do they start descending from? I'm serious, man. If I ever make it as either a content creator or as some person of influence, and chicks ever try to throw themselves at me in some aggressive way where there's like multiple showing interest, I'm always going to remember those years of being completely ignored by them. It wasn't okay. There is no late last minute triangle that can reverse any of that. It was hell on earth. That's my pledge to you. If I ever make it on this site or in real life in any capacity, and some random set of it could be one, it could, especially if it's several, I will always remember what they did as a group. I will ignore them just as they ignored me. I wish one of these bastards would say, "Oh, I like you." Like, yeah, where was this like 10 years ago? You shouldn't have to become famous to have chicks want to ask you out. That's nuts. Or be a millionaire, or I mean, like listen, just any of that stuff. Yeah, it is too little, too late. You know what it is? You can't replace one extreme with the other. Like you can't go from having no chicks for years, act like they actually want to be with you, to then suddenly, oh, here's a whole bunch of them that are interested uh randomly after you've become something, and then you're not supposed to notice that. Well, dude, I told you that when my grandparents met, they were in college. They didn't have any damn house of their own, or uh net worth, or any other stupid or financial balance, or any other little goofy crap people have been saying on here. So, the gold digger stuff really wasn't in effect back then, or even I would say when my parents met. It's really just, now that chicks have to reach for the damn moon. And I guess what drives me crazy is like, picture yourself from my perspective. All throughout the time you were in school, starting from like middle school, you saw female classmates date male classmates, right? Male classmates who didn't own anything, didn't have a job, nobody knew who the hell they were. But then for some reason, for you to get a little bit of attention from chicks, you have to become famous. Why? Oh, guys in your class who never did a push up, they can get a date, but you need to go to the gym. Like, get out of my face. Guys who in your class and have $1 in their pocket, they can get somebody to date them, but you need to be a millionaire. Like, who buys that? Like I said, I'm working on the second part of the documentary, Megumi, but after that, I'll try to squeeze in the decline video where I was going to talk about like how awful stuff has gotten. I never understand that when people would usually give this kind of advice and they can't see how stupid they sound. They're very stupid, but they're stupid because they don't actually hear themselves. They just like when you type something, there's a dissonance that is not the same as if you were to say it to somebody. Like in real life, I don't have anyone going, go to the gym, become a millionaire. But online, they type it ad nauseum because they can write that stupid stuff and not think too hard about it. This lady has some nice hair, some cool looking sunglasses. Also, in honor of Barbie becoming the highest grossing movie of the year, I figure I should go get some pink shades and wear them for the rest of the year. Like I said, the only reason it's taken longer is because I've been trying to make that LBJ documentary for years. Like I've wanted to do that for a long time. So now that I'm doing it, I'm trying to like, actually just, I'm talking about like when you start something, you want to finish it. But I'll try to, stick this. I want to do at least a second part or some more past part 1 before trying to jump to something else. So I hope you can forgive me if there's a few weeks delay. Dude, the Kotsky merchant was so excited when they said that Barbie was coming out on digital on September 5th. He was like, yes, just one more day, 12 hours. Or I guess it's probably like, I don't know, 9 or 10 for him at this point, the different time zones. So Megumi, I'm just trying to get you to understand. I'm not trying to not do the video. I just have this other big thing I'm trying to make before the year's out. So I hope you'll forgive me. In the meantime, there's plenty of other romance stuff I've made that you can, watch if you like. There's no shortage of it, I'd say. So yeah, there's a silver lining to all of this. But like I said, these modern chicks are just awful, man. Like, besides the fact that they don't take care of themselves a lot of times, besides the fact that people want you to do crazy stuff to appeal to them, it's just sad, What, you're supposed to upload it straight away. I damned you make content when I say you should, is what majority of these silly people online think. Oh yeah. It's even worse because but that's why I said people who don't make things don't understand. They don't know what it's like to sit there and write out some script and proofread it and make sure that it conveys all the points you want made. They don't get it. They've never had to deal with that. They just go on YouTube and look, oh, here's hundreds and thousands of videos for me to watch. Yay. That's why I said, man, people they're never not going to be disappointing. Like, imagine what I would look like. Oh, I don't. I was wondering when you would make this video. It's like, you just got a video for me yesterday. I can see if it's been weeks or months or years, but Jesus. Part 1 literally came out not even 3 days ago because it was uploaded all the way at the end of Friday, and it's like, is part 2 coming out in 20 years? Just stupid, man. That's why I say when people write stuff, you can't even take it seriously. You have to just roll your eyes and ignore it. I try to do that, but a lot of it is just, I guess, like when I thought about all the effort I put into that to not have it take even longer, it's even worse when you consider that someone's like, "Hey, by the way, do this thing that you were already trying to rush out. Do the next one even quicker." Like, Jesus. Megumi writes, people just can't wait. I've noticed a lot of people online say the same thing when it comes to other forms of media too, movies and games and such when they get released. Oh yeah, they'll have a new game come out and then like 10 days later, when's the next one coming? God, man. But look, I'm gonna get off here so I can go and run my errands. I'm glad you got to show up and speak to me during the stream. Your presence had been greatly missed. I would curl up in the ball and wonder if I would ever see Megumi again. I'll be back on Monday. not Monday, excuse me, on Saturday. I'm so sleepy. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. That's why we got in the stream, because my mind is slipping and wandering in all types of places. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back on Saturday, and I'll see about putting up the decline at some point in the near future. So have a good rest of your week.